You should be watching.
Bing bong.
Greetings, Earthlings. Long time no speak. We got some Dragon Ball third-party action figure news as per usual. Now, we're going to do something a little different this video. I'm going to do a lightning round of stuff that you could buy right now. So, as you can see, kicking it off, but it should be fairly quick. We have the Kamione, aka Taunton Art Toys, if you don't know. Super Saiyan 4 Gogetas. I have these in hand myself. So far, I'm really enjoying it. You'll see some pictures as I post them on Instagram. I'll have like the link for that in the description below, and I'll also have the link to buy these in the description below. But just letting you know that it's available. 5K plans to also sell these. However, as I understand it, they didn't do a pre-order for it, so when they get it, they're just gonna sell it, kind of like that. You feel me? So let's move on to the next thing.
Bing bong.
Okay, so this is posted by Living Lux store. It's a store on AliExpress, and here are the Air/HM Studio Gohan Beast head sculpts. Now, HM Studio has done a solo thing of Gohan Beast head sculpt. Let me know if you want me to do a showcase for that. Matter of fact, if you check out my Instagram, you'll see I have that head sculpt on the Xeno Goku Black body. I'll post like a quick screenshot of it, and you know, if you want to give a follow, you can, because I'm trying to, you know, be more active in terms of the toy photography side of things, and you'll hear me talk more about that as we go through this particular video. But here's what you're looking at in terms of the different head sculpts. Of course, the first slide shows all three of the head sculpts that you'll get in a kit. Well, you'll get in three of the kits. My bad, I'm confusing it. Like it's what you call it, like it's as if it's the DKO Super Saiyan head sculpts, where you get like three different head sculpts in one set. But either way, in a way you do. Well, actually, I misspoke. You do get the three different hair styles in each set. It's just that you don't get the different colors. So you know, you get that gray color, you get that pearlescent color, and then of course you get the silver, which is shown here. You know, this was 2 days ago now. The US stock for the Gohan Beast for this on 5K is of course currently sold out. Anything, you know, once the US stock comes up on 5K, it's going to sell out immediately, but it's still available on some AliExpress stores, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. I just want to hurry up and, you know, get through this portion of stuff that you can buy right now. Like there's no pre-order for at this point. You can just buy it. You feel me? Once again, let's move forward.
Bing bong.
Alright, so here we have the Perfect Self by KW Studio. It's in stock right now. Last time I checked, 5K Toys as of this recording. And, you know, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding these particular figures. The head sculpts haven't been, you know, leave a lot to be desired. But I think it's a nice attempt. The only thing is, in terms of, you know, that sort of consolation prize, if you're charging like a premium price for something that's just a nice attempt, it doesn't work out that way. You know, you can't just say, oh well, I tried my best. Not at the end of the day, if you're charging that premium price, then we're gonna be critical of your work. You feel me? And also, you know, word on the street is that these figures, at least the general QC issue seems to be that these figures are very loose in the joints. I don't have it in hand. I was never really invested in this Perfect Cell figure to begin with, because when it comes to the villains, I always just wait for Tamashii to do it. Tamashii does the villains excellently. So, you know, there's that. If you want to cop it, once again, I'll put the link in the description. If you don't, then obviously don't. On to the next thing.
Bing bong.
Last but certainly not least, we have the DKO and Recustom Last Duel Super Saiyan head sculpts. As you can see, you're getting a lot with these head sculpt kits. If you've been here from the beginning with the head sculpts, this is probably DKO and Recustom have been going crazy in terms of, you know, your bang for your buck in these head sculpts. You're getting 10 face plates, and you're basically getting 3 different hair sculpts for the Super Saiyan. This is really dope. And really quick, I'm gonna just take y'all through it and show y'all like my good man Flox Figs. Check him out. You can see some of his toy photography. This is once again one of the DKO head sculpts, and then we're gonna go to my guy right here. I don't know him personally, but no, I think his name. He said, how you pronounce his name? I think he said Fat. It sounds like Fat Kit in Cantonese. So we're gonna go right here once again. Go through the his pictures is immaculate. Check him out. Check out my good man Flock's face too. And here is my man Fat Kit right here. Got all the different variants that you're gonna get in the packaging of the hair sculpts, so you get a good look at what everything looks like. And he got them on different body modes, so basically a showcase right there. And that's something I plan to do and get back in myself in terms of showcasing head sculpts and doing a review. I'll probably start off with a bunch of showcases just to get myself in the groove a bit, getting back into doing reviews, because I've been saying that for a while. I'm gonna get back into it, but I just haven't been able to. But something's got to give, and I'm getting to a point where I just really want to get back into this, consistently. Either way, I think we can move on to the news portion, unless I randomly forget something else that's still in stock. But these are the most relevant things, I'll say. Actually, I lied to you. I just remembered another thing, but we're going to cover it in the next segment.
Bing bong.
So, moving right along with stuff that you can buy right now, we have Future Gohan. Feels like a fever dream at this point, because we know the different waxing and waning that's been going on with Future Gohan in terms of anybody dropping it, period. And we finally have the full figure dropping by Has Studio, or whatever you want to call it, right? Now, spoiler warning, this has been recorded after the fact of me recording all the other segments, so it's going to be a lot of, in the previous segment, you heard me say, this is the last part of this segment. Spoiler warning, that's not getting old for this video, Moving right along, though.
Bing bong.
So, we come to the ZT Toys Battle Damage Broly. This is available on Hobby Model Store. At least this was available on not May 25th, but on one of their more recent posts, it's available. I don't know if it's available as we speak, but if it is, of course, the link will be in the description. And we'll move right along.
Look at my horse is amazing.
So, we move on to DF. Good old DF. DF is reliable in terms of the third-party action figure space. You'll always get something good from them, in my opinion. The only way you will think that you won't get something good is if you're just straight up not interested in whatever they're releasing. Like this, for example. This is fan fiction, but I wanted their version of Zycor because I think they did the better version, in comparison to Beast Deity. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. But it seems like they're actually going to drop this figure. I thought this was a project abandoned, especially since it was fan fiction. I could see it not being a priority, but it looks like it's going to be dropped, and I'm stoked for it. Definitely going to be first in line. And I already reviewed the Beast Deity version. So, I'll be comparing this with the Beast Deity version and whatnot. But definitely stoked for this. We're going to move right along, though, because as I said in the last segment, there's still some figures that you could buy right away. And this is one of them. The Beast, I was about to call it Beast Deity. The Demoniacal Fit Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And here's another look at it right here. All the accessories and whatnot that you get. About the same amount of accessories as the Kami 1 version. I think it looks great. I think DF might have Taunta's number on it, but not for the reasons that you might, all of the reasons that you might think. I think it might be just better value overall, and partially the aesthetic, partially, not fully, but partially the aesthetic. Here's another look at it, and here we have Martialist Forever Evolving Combat. This is particularly supposed to be the base form, not the Super Saiyan form. It was just for the sake of the picture that they're showing the Super Saiyan form. If you're not interested in that new base Goku that's come out with from Tamashi, which is what is it called, the Kind-Hearted Saiyan, which looks dope. I think some of the initial pictures that people took, and that happens a lot with the first people that get the pictures, they just I ain't gonna lie to y'all, sometimes you'll see some pictures that float around on the internet figures, you know, initially. They'd be like, oh, this looks terrible. But sometimes I think some people just take bad pictures. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just bad pictures, you know? Because there are other pictures, it'll be like, okay, this is how, you know, it should look. But either way, let's move right along. We have the Dragon Buster. This is probably going to be your best Super Saiyan 3 on the market, as well as the most affordable one. And honestly, most bang for your buck in terms of that huge hunk of plastic and with the dragon, you know, effect piece, you know, for his Dragon Fist. So definitely something to pick up. I can see this going up in price. I can see this being a more valuable figure. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this should be, not actually, it is available now, because we're gonna look at my good man Flox Figs. When he see this video, you're gonna be like, damn, you feature me a decent amount. But here's some pictures that he took. Definitely give his page a look. I really like that first picture that he did right here. This close-up is dope. These pictures are good as well, but that close-up I think is definitely, oh, this one too. I really like the close-ups. Oh yeah, the close-ups is real nice. The close-ups is real stand out, in my opinion. Oh, that's nah, how you gonna do Vegeta like that? Nah. See, now I gotta take pictures of Vegeta getting his gift back, you know? But either way, let's move right along. I think, yeah, that's it for DF. Let's move right along. So real quick, we're gonna knock this out. HMG, Living Lux Store. Of course, they have a couple different people tags. I don't even feel like going through all those people, but one of them is Golden Ozaru. Definitely some great photography, great, you know, video. I wish he took more pictures. I feel like he'd be, like, his shit would be fire. Well, I know that it would be fire because I could just see how the quality of everything. But either way, I don't want to go off topic. Release schedule for HMG Mystic Gohan Ultimate Gohan Q3 2026. So Q3 would be from, what is it, like July to September, and then yeah, October, November, yeah, that'll be Q4. Either way, standard sculpt accessory A, no earrings, one piece of standard black hair, one piece of front bang. Okay, all right, let's just go through it. That's version A right there. Seems like the hair is just, you know, still looks more windswept, at least here. Another windswept hair. And then, of course, we have the not windswept hair. And then we have two figures. Wait, what's the difference between the two? I guess it's going to be, you know, that more reddish color and then the more yellow-orange. So the more orange-yellow, I mean, red-orange and the more yellow-orange in terms of the gis, because in the manga, of course, the gi is more of a yellow-orange. What do they say specifically with the description? Version A with the red shoes. Okay, that's the darker orange, I'm assuming. Version B with the, wait, alright, let me just read it fully, because me making assumptions is not helping anything. One fully polished 3.0 main body head accessory set A plus B. 10 interchangeable hand parts, one cross chest hugging arm accessory. Why? I feel like they use extra words for no reason. Just say crossed arms, bro. But either way, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Version B with the red shoes, one fully polished 3.0 main arm head hair accessory A plus B, 10 interchangeable hand parts, one cross arm accessory. So it's gonna be basically this body mold with these different color variants. That being said, let's move right along. That'll be up for pre-order if it's not already up for pre-order on Living Lux Store. So, you know, give them a check out the reviews to see if you trust that. That's how I choose the stores myself. But let's move right along. So I think I was going to save this for later in the video, but at this point, as many recordings as I did, this is basically later in the video. Blood Fang Studio, and this is basically the Mega Shenron, you know. As I understand it right there, that head won't be included. That was circled, and here is some, you know, quick pictures of the articulation and whatnot. Looks like it'll have a decent crunch, moving backward and forward. Yeah. Definitely exciting. Matter of fact, I think there's a little bit more pictures that I can show. That was just to show the articulation, so just give me a bit and we're gonna move right into there. Here is a look from 5K Toys at the figure fully assembled, you know, of course referring to the Omega Shenron. It looks dope, looks great so far. When we look at the next set of pictures, they're showing us right here, need your thoughts and suggestions, basically to give critiques of, you know, this particular figure, this Omega Shenron character. And first of all, this is just bold of them to make, and I'm happy that they showed this picture because this gives us a what you call it, a nice scale representation as a understanding that they're trying to make right here, to show you that okay, he's about the height of that Final Form Cooler figure. And I have that figure, which is still a top, probably still a top 5 Dragon Ball figure, period, third party or official, you know. But let's move right along. So, you know, right here we have the Red Bolt re-releases, and one of them is Zycor. Go figures. I believe, I don't know who showed it first, but I wanted to say DF showed theirs first in terms of this time. Of course, we know Beast Deity's already dropped this specific Zycor, and we know that Red Bolt is like you know, another code name for Beast Deity's Kong Studio. You get the whole picture. I always go through that just because I know it's always new people watching, you know. So I always go through those motions. So, you know, if you get a little annoyed, like, oh, why is he always saying the same thing over and over? That's why. You feel me? Either way, it went up for a pre-order on 5K. Even though I don't think it's available on 5K anymore, that's fine, because if it's up on 5K in terms of the pre-order, it'll be up on different sites on AliExpress. And you know, while we talking about AliExpress right here, let me just say this. Ordering from AliExpress is annoying sometimes. I would say particularly because if you pre-order something, and I tend not to pre-order things because I just want to be able to get it within that 2 or 3 weeks. You know, of course, if you know, that's the time you'll have to wait if you're ordering from like a site like AliExpress or any site that's, you know, outside of the States, you know. Well, not any, but you get the general idea. It's gonna take longer. AliExpress will, you know, you can put your pre-order in, and then like they'll cancel your pre-order but hike up the prices. That's been something that's going on a little while now. I ignored it for a bit because I thought it was only like a couple stores that was doing that, but it seemed like a lot of stores started to practice that. I haven't ordered from every store to know for sure, but I've seen more and more complaints about that, so definitely something to keep an eye on, you know. That being said, is it always gonna happen? No, obviously not, but just, you know, like a little heads up if that happens. Here we have the Xeno Goku Blacks. Now, of course, matter of fact, I might even post a picture again with my HM Gohan Beast head sculpt, the original one, not the collab with Air that I talked about earlier, but the original one that was just only done by HM, where I have the head sculpt on this body mold, and definitely one of my favorite figures to pose around. I actually have some pictures planned that I want to take, but either way, you'll see those if you follow my Instagram, you know. But yeah, the pre-orders up for this one up on 5K in terms of it still being available on 5K, and the pre-orders, I think the Scythe like accessory kit is still there, but the 2 figures, like this regular Super Saiyan Rose and a Super Saiyan 3 Rose, I don't know if those are still up, but you know, you can check. Either way, let's move right along. Okay, so we have this studio right here where it is teasing a Great Saiyaman outfit Gohan, and I wonder who this is. I guess it could be some type of variant. I'm not even gonna guess who it is. Whoever it is, just make sure you drop it and make sure that it's good in terms of the QC. At this point, I don't really care. I'll care when, you know, we actually get pictures of it. But here's another look. Same thing. Like I said, I won't really care until we actually see it drop, but this is definitely has the makings of a great release. Let's move right along. Okay, so we have the GM Studio Broly hair sculpts, and you know, this is definitely an interesting choice because I think the head sculpts could have been left alone as is. Now, of course, they still These GM Studio head sculpt definitely look better, I would say, but this wasn't something that was necessarily in desperate need of an upgrade in comparison to a lot of other stuff. But like I said, this looks good. This looks good. So continuing with the GM Studio Dragon Ball Super Broly head sculpts, we have this head sculpt, and of course we have a look at the standard straight hair, no windswept, and then right here, of course, the flowing hair edition. Then in one of the head sculpts, we have him with a face where he's getting snuffed by Gogeta. Now, I think that it does it for the GM stuff. We're gonna move right along. Here we have NS Studio Super Saiyan 3 Battle Damage Goku. I ain't gonna lie, I confused this for the Black Shark model. That was Battle Damage, which they say now is coming with a bonus, and the bonus is just a base head Goku. Or a head sculpt for Goku, and this looks good so far. So far, so good, and even that bonus looked good. I don't know why it had to be a bonus. It should have just been a part of the full figure instead of making it a so-called bonus. But let's move right along. Here's some color pictures. You got that more pale orange, more dark orange. The hair looks dope. A crap ton of faces. And of course, if you get both versions of the figure, you get this Super Saiyan 7 head sculpt, and this is awesome. This is the first time we've seen a studio outside of Kong, assuming that this is already Kong or Beast deity, or you get the picture. Assuming that this isn't that, then this is the first time somebody outside of them, besides what DF, did they ever do any fan fiction? Yeah, no, they didn't. They haven't dropped any of that fan fiction stuff, but it looks like they plan to with Zycore, so I'm happy about that. Super Saiyan 7 Goku, if you don't already know, this is from Dragon Ball AF. Definitely something that should be a bonus. I think I'm very satiated in terms of their decision with this. If you get both versions, then you get this, Let's move right along. Here's a more full look at the body mold, and yeah, looks great. So as we wind down, we have the ZL Broly. Now, side note, I actually took a nap in between segments. I usually just record everything all the way straight through, each segment back to back to back, but took a nap, feel a lot more refreshed. But here's the ZL Broly, your more powered down Broly, or I would say regular Super Saiyan Broly, or Super Saiyan, what is this, type A? But he has the slightly suppressed look to it, and it has the bluish hair. And of course it has that purplish hair in some of the scenes in the original Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan movie. Looks like it's coming along very nicely. Wouldn't be surprised if this comes out sometime later this year. I don't think I can't remember any actual estimations on when this figure actually drops, but I can't wait for it to drop. I definitely have a couple of customs that I'm going to need. Oh, not need, but I'm going to need this body to do a couple of customs. So definitely stoked for that. Let's move right along. And last, but I think might be, no, not even least, but I think this might be the last part of this particular video. We have 100% Frieza, like a third party 100% Frieza, and I think it is coming along very nicely so far. It's made by DB Toys, very on the nose, and ultimately I think this is an excellent third party release. I think it's about time, third party did some of these type of releases, and I don't think they should just stop here. Do the rest of the Frieza forms, because a lot of that was premium Bandai stuff, and what I'm trying to say is tap into that premium Bandai stuff that gets very expensive on a secondary market, because especially as time passes by, it's not like they re-release these things very often, or they have a system for that. Now I wouldn't be surprised if in the future Tamashii starts having a specific system where they re-release these. Now typically when they re-release them, it's another type of exclusive. So for example, they'll have, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if, like for example, something like Metal Cooler is re-released in the future as a con exclusive, but it has that more greenish tint, like how he was in the movie. But ultimately, a lot of people were saying, well, he had the greenish tint in the first place because he was reflecting like the chrome was reflecting the green grass of Namek, and that's why he had the greenish tint to begin with. And then somebody will point to the games. Well, look at it, how he looked in the games. It wasn't like that in the games. He still had the greenish tint regardless. I mean, maybe all of us misunderstood why he was green in the first place. That's possible. But either way, I digress. I don't want to get too off topic. But this, like I said, the main idea, making, these third-party, basically re-releases of premium Bandai releases, somebody should definitely jump on that. I think that's a huge money-making opportunity. Whoever DB Toys is, don't just stop here. Don't just make this one off and then call it a day. Do a whole bunch of them. Like I said, might as well do the rest of the forms of Frieza. And if I might add, if you're gonna do a third form Frieza, scale it up. Take that figure, scale it up, and make him the size he was in Z. Just my 2 cents. Now, with all that being said, hopefully I didn't forget anything. Y'all know how it goes. I usually have forgotten something by now. This has been Bombastic Plastic. Stay fantastic and, stay positive. Have a blessed day. Peace.
残念ですが、時間外労働です。Just look at him, square.
Just like clockwork, your boy forgot something. So, the Square K Gotenks figure, which we hadn't heard about in eons, just out of nowhere, back sometime middle of May, late May, we got updates and pictures just out of nowhere. So, take that for what you will. Oh, actually, now we have context. The SDCC exclusives, one of them is Super Saiyan Gotenks, so maybe that's why we got this a little bit, back then. Because I was saying it was out of nowhere, but clearly not. Either way, this is looking good. The articulation looks good. I think using the Demon Slayer knee setup is awesome. It's not a whole lot that I can say about this. It's looking good so far, and we'll see how it comes out ultimately, because as we've seen with a couple of third parties, you can have a very nice looking figure, or at least a decent looking figure, and then the figure be like wah, wah, wah. Either way, that about does it. I don't think there's anything else to cover. Until next time, peace.
The other daily double.
Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo.
Now I know I said overtime was over, but here's an accessory that Black Shark model is coming out with, and that is the Soul Punisher, Stardust Breaker, whatever you want to call it. I like Soul Punisher the best. And it's an effect piece for Gogeta. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about the little twinkles, because I understand it's supposed to be like the little sparkle, glitter stuff from the attack, but I don't know. Maybe a pale, like a very pale yellow. Definitely not that yellow, but like a very pale yellow could work, for the sparkles, or maybe white could just work. But I think overall the effect looks good, but I don't know. I feel like the stars give kind of cheapen it a little bit in terms of the aesthetic. But that's just me. I think that does it for real this time. I know I always say that, but I'm not even gonna do the whole closeout. Just peace, have a blessed day.
One more thing.
Yeah, don't even say anything at this point, because it's just getting ridiculous. But 2 things I forgot. One, I forgot this. The Dimensionia Studio Goku Black head sculpts. It's looking like it's coming along very nicely, but also I want to take this opportunity to talk about this Dragon Ball third party Discord. Oh man, I'm forgetting my good man's name. I can't remember his name at this point in time, but he did. This is a community, of course, to get your Dragon Ball news and whatnot. And also, I pop in there every now and again, and I post my toy photography. And who knows? I might even hop and call from time to time. I'll put the link for this Discord in the description. But that being said, I think now I've actually covered everything. At least, I hope. Watch somebody in the comment section gonna be like, "Bomb, you forgot this." Man, as you can see, I forgot a lot of things in this video. But that being said, like I said, it looks like it's coming along very nicely, and hopefully it doesn't have the QC of that Vito Forge figure. Now I hear that they're gonna do a next run where the QC is fixed. We'll see how that goes, but I don't understand why they're just gonna take more time and get the first batch right. You feel me? But either way, let me not get into that. This has been Bombastic Plastic. Stay fantastic. Like I said, the link to that Discord where you can get your news, you can talk with other like-minded figure collectors, that'll be in the description below. And until next time, for real, this time, peace.